Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth, let me begin with a bold truth. All that you touch, all that you taste, all that you hear, all that you call reality is but the echo of your inner world. You are not here to chase after effects. You are here to create causes. And those causes, they are invisible, yet they are more real than anything your five senses can grasp. So how do we manifest instantly? Let us walk the path, step by step. Close your eyes, not to sleep, but to awaken, and withdraw from the world of noise and facts and limitations. Turn away from the question how, and enter the only place where creation happens, within. In this stillness you meet the truth of who you are, a creative being endowed with infinite power. Clarity is power. What do you want? Not vaguely, but specifically. See it clearly, name it boldly. Don't limit it to what you think is possible. The universe is not bound by probability. It is bound by your belief. Now use the divine tool, your imagination. Build a short, vivid scene that would imply your desires already come to pass. Let it be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, no more is needed. At the appropriate time, each pair, it could be a phone call, a hug, a bank notification, a congratulation, whatever it is, let it carry the essence of fulfillment. Feel yourself inside it, not as an observer, but as the central actor. Touch it, hear it, smell it, engage every sense. Let it be alive. Let it be real. Let it feel like now. Because here's the secret. It is now. Creation is finished the moment you accept it in consciousness. This is the golden key. Feel the emotion of your wish fulfilled. Joy, gratitude, relief, confidence. Let the feeling saturate your being. The deeper the feeling, the faster the manifestation, because you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. As you rise from this meditative act, carry the feeling with you. Walk through your day as one who already has what they once longed for. Think from it. Speak from it. Your assumptions persisted and become fact. The world may not reflect your inner shift right away. Ignore appearances. Dismiss the evidence of the senses. Your reality is already changed. Trust the unseen. You've planted the seed, it must grow. Each night, before sleep, revisit your scene. Feed it again, fall asleep in a state of the wish fulfilled. Why? Because sleep is the gateway to the subconscious, and the subconscious is the womb of creation. Do not manipulate, do not force. Your only job is to remain in a state of fulfillment. Life will rearrange itself to bring you what you have claimed within. Doors will open, people will show up. It will feel like magic, but it is law. You are not hoping anymore. You are not wishing. You are knowing. And in this knowing, your manifestation is instant, because time is only a servant to your conviction. The moment you assume it, it is done. The outer must follow the inner. As within, so without. As above, so below. As you believe, so shall it be done. You are not here to beg from the universe. You are here to command it through feeling, through faith, through vision. You are not a reactor. You are a creator. So today, right now, walk in the confidence of your inner world. Manifest not by chance, but by law, and do it not someday, but instantly. This is not philosophy, it is function. It means that nothing exists for you outside of your awareness of it. Your world is a mirror reflecting your inner state, always and without exception. What you assume, believe, feel, and accept as true within yourself determines what takes shape around you. Events are not random. People are not independent actors. Circumstances are not accidents. They are all outpicturings of the content of your consciousness. The house you live in, the job you have, the relationships you attract, these are not the causes of your experience, but the effects. You do not react to life. You create it by the level at which you operate in consciousness. Your inner conversations, your imaginal acts, your emotional states, these form the blueprint. They are silently organizing what you will call reality tomorrow. This principle does not change whether you're aware of it or not. If you hold a belief that life is hard, that people are untrustworthy, or that money is scarce, then life will shape itself to confirm those beliefs. But change your inner assumptions, and the outer must conform. Consciousness does not lie, it does not judge, it simply reflects. What you recognize as true in consciousness becomes your world, not through effort, not through external manipulation, but through natural law. When you know this deeply, when it stops being theory and becomes your knowing, everything changes. You no longer try to fix the mirror. You change your reflection by changing the image you hold within. There is no power outside of you creating your life. The power is in you, right now. The outer world is clay. Your consciousness is the sculptor. It lies in its ability to override the seeming facts of the present moment and replace them with the felt reality of what is desired. It is not wishful thinking. It is not idle hope. It is a conscious act of creation where you take on the inner position that what you desire is already yours, already real, already complete. When you assume something, you're not trying to make it happen. You are accepting it as already done, already true in your inner world, regardless of outer evidence. Assumption is not something you force, it is something you feel. It must be natural to you. You must wear the state of the wish fulfilled like a garment, not for a few seconds, but as a new identity. And once you assume a thing to be true with full inner conviction, the world begins to organize itself to reflect that assumption. You move through life no longer asking if it will happen. You live as though it has happened. The secret is that reality does not wait for physical proof to confirm your assumption. It is the assumption itself that produces the proof. People may call it coincidence, synchronicity, or luck, but those are just names given by those unaware of the creative process. Life is compelled to reflect your inner acceptance. Assume health, and the body begins to respond. Assume wealth, and opportunities unfold. Assume love, and your world rearranges to bring it forth. But the assumption must be felt as real. It must be accepted emotionally, not just intellectually. That emotional acceptance, what feels natural to you, is what determines your reality. You cannot receive what you do not inwardly claim. But once you claim it, once you persist in the feeling of having it, it must come. That is the law. It is the very act of creation itself. Everything that now exists was once imagined. Quietly, privately, within the mind of someone who dared to believe in the unseen. Imagination is not fantasy, it is the foundation. The chair you sit on, the device you're holding, the city you live in, all were imagined before they were built. The outer world is simply imagination made visible, thought made form. When you imagine something vividly, with feeling and conviction, you are not merely daydreaming, you are crafting the blueprint of your future experience. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined when the emotion is strong enough. What you consistently imagine and emotionally accept will harden into fact. That is the process. You do not need to know how. You only need to remain loyal to the image you have impressed upon your inner world. Imagination is the creative force behind all manifestation. It bypasses limitations, ignores present conditions, and reaches directly into the infinite field of possibilities. You can use it to revise your past, transform your present, and design your future. The more real it feels to you within, the sooner it will express itself without. Your imagined experiences form the substance of what becomes visible. This is not about idle visualization. It is about dwelling in the reality of your desire, fully absorbing yourself in the scene, touching it, hearing it, feeling it, until the world inside you becomes more alive than the one outside. That inner world will not stay hidden for long. It will project itself into space and time, taking on the shape of your assumption. Reality bends to match the world you consistently imagine. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the inner world and the outer world. It is not enough to think a thing. You must feel it real. Feeling is what gives thought its creative power. It is the emotional acceptance of a desire that impresses it upon the subconscious, and the subconscious is what manifests your world. It responds not to words, not to logic, but to the dominant emotional tone you carry within. What you feel consistently becomes your state of being, and your state is what determines your experiences. If you feel lack, you continue to live in lack. If you feel loved, abundance follows. The feeling is not something to wait for. It is something to generate now. You must summon the emotion of the fulfilled desire and dwell in it even when there is no evidence to support it, especially when there is no evidence. This is the inner alchemy, feeling the reality of what is not yet visible. To the rational mind, it seems foolish, but to the creative mind, it is law. When you feel something deeply and naturally, your subconscious accepts it as truth, and reality conforms. You are not waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel successful or joyful. You are claiming that feeling now, and the world must reflect it. Emotion is the language of creation. It is the vibration that resonates through the invisible, calling forth events, people, and circumstances that match its tone. You do not have to force anything. You simply shift the inner feeling, and the outer must follow. The moment you feel it real, you move into alignment with it. You begin to think from it, act from it, live from it, and the world responds accordingly. Feeling is the activating power. It is the seed and the soil. If you would change your life, do not change things. Change your feeling about them. Live in the mood of your wish fulfilled, and the unseen will become seen. To mentally and emotionally occupy the state in which your desire is already fulfilled. It is not about hoping, wishing, or waiting. It is about assuming that what you want is already yours and living in alignment with that truth. You do not think of your desire. You think from it. You move as though it is already done because in consciousness it is. This is the great shift. From wanting to being, from separation to possession. You must go to the end and dwell there. Feel what you would feel if your desire were now a fact. Speak the way you would speak. Think the thoughts that belong to that version of you. You are not trying to bring the future into the present. You are stepping into the version of yourself where the future is already real. Living from the end is not about pretending or acting. It is about accepting the new reality internally so fully that it becomes natural. You carry yourself differently, not because you are trying to convince others, but because you are no longer trying to get something. You know you have it. And from that knowing, you begin to attract, allow, and create the bridge of events that leads to the physical manifestation. This is where faith becomes sight, not because you begged or waited, but because you dared to believe that your assumption was more real than your current circumstances. You persist in that state regardless of what your senses show you. The world may appear unchanged for a time, but inwardly you are already living the fulfillment, and the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Living from the end is creation in its purest form. It is claiming the unseen as fact, and in doing so, making it so. To make your desired outcome your emotional and mental home. It means you are no longer seeking, no longer reaching. You are residing in the inner certainty that what you desire is already yours. You live in the feeling of completion, of fulfillment, even when nothing in the physical world has changed yet. And that is the secret. Reality changes only after you do. This is not a temporary act or a momentary visualization. It is a sustained inner posture. You return to it again and again, regardless of what happens around you. You maintain the inner mood that would be natural if your desire were already realized. You don't visit it, you inhabit it. You don't merely imagine it, you identify with it. It becomes the atmosphere of your mind and the vibration of your heart. When you dwell in this state, you stop being a person who wants and become a person who has. And that shift, though invisible, changes everything. Your assumptions begin to direct your perception, your decisions, your energy. Life starts to respond not to your effort, but to your embodiment. The people you meet, the circumstances you encounter, the timing of events, these are all pulled into alignment with the inner state you refuse to leave. You remain faithful to the end, even when the world seems to contradict it. You don't argue with appearances. You don't beg or chase or doubt. You return quietly to your inner world, where it is already done, and you rest there, because in truth it is your dwelling that determines your destiny, not your outer effort. When you consistently occupy the state of the wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to conform. It is law. What you accept as true within must express itself without. The conversations you have with yourself are the seeds of your reality. They are silent but powerful, constantly creating, reinforcing, and projecting the state of consciousness you live in. Every thought you repeat, every internal dialogue you entertain, either affirms your desire or denies it. And what you affirm inwardly, especially with emotion and consistency, becomes the script your life plays out. You may believe your life is shaped by actions, but action is only the echo of belief. Before you move, you think. Before you decide, you assume. And beneath all of it, your inner speech is quietly constructing the framework of your experience. The words you speak within, whether hopeful or fearful, grateful or resentful, are not private, they are causal. To change your life, you must become conscious of your internal dialogue. Notice how often you rehearse worry, replay doubt, or confirm limitation. Each of these thoughts, though seemingly harmless, is a command issued to the subconscious. And the subconscious, neutral and unquestioning, brings it forth. When you deliberately choose inner conversations that match the reality you want, you begin to shift your state. Tell yourself what you would hear if your desire were fulfilled. Speak inwardly as the version of yourself who already has what they once hoped for. Do not wait for evidence to change your language. Change your language, and the evidence will follow. Your inner speech is a tool, a compass, a builder. Use it with purpose. Speak kindly, boldly, and truthfully to yourself, not according to current facts, but according to your chosen vision. And as your inner speech changes, so too will your world. The how is not your domain. It belongs to the unseen intelligence that responds to your state of being, not to your plans or strategies. When you become obsessed with how something will happen, you step out of the creative state and into doubt. You begin to measure possibilities based on your current limitations, forgetting that what manifests does not come from logic, but from alignment. The need to figure it out, to calculate, to control, is the resistance. It assumes separation from your desire. It keeps you in the energy of waiting. But manifestation is not about striving, it's about assuming and receiving. When you release the how, you allow the deeper current of life to move on your behalf. The right people, the right timing, the necessary events, these appear not because you forced them, but because you are ready inwardly. The now is where all power exists. The wish fulfilled must be accepted in the present, not as something you're working toward, but something you're experiencing internally now. If you can feel it now, live it now, know it now, then it must unfold. The future you want is not ahead of you, it's within you, waiting to be claimed. You do not need to chase, you need to align. And alignment happens in this moment through assumption, feeling, and surrender. Trust that the moment you claim your desire in consciousness, the process is already underway. Do not water it down with questions or timelines. Let the how go completely, and let the now become your point of power. The external world often seems stubborn, slow, or even contradictory to what you feel inside. The senses report one thing, but your inner conviction tells a different story. This is a natural part of the creative process. The outer reality may lag behind your consciousness, but it cannot withstand sustained inner belief. When you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what your eyes see or what circumstances suggest, you maintain the frequency that calls your desire into being. Appearance is often misleading. It is a temporary veil, not the final truth. Many give up at this point, mistaking the delay for denial, but persistence is the key that breaks through the illusion. To persist means to return continually to the state where your desire is already realized. It means not wavering in doubt or giving your attention to contradictory evidence. You hold fast to the assumption, to the feeling, to the inner knowing that your manifestation is inevitable. This steady insistence on the inner reality gradually reshapes the outer world, bending it to your consciousness. The test of manifestation is often how long you can hold your assumption against the tide of appearances. Those who do not give up become living proof that reality is shaped not by what is seen, but by what is believed. Persistence is not stubbornness, it is faith made visible. It is the unshakable assurance that what you have imagined and felt is coming, no matter what the present shows. Through persistence, the impossible becomes possible. The unseen becomes seen. Appearances fall away, and the truth of your inner state becomes the world you walk in. It is the instant you fully commit your consciousness to a new reality. Until that point, desires may be vague wishes or fleeting hopes, but the decision transforms them into undeniable truths within your inner world. This decision is not a casual thought or a passing fancy. It is a deep, unwavering acceptance that what you want is already yours, that it is no longer a possibility, but a certainty. In this moment, you no longer vacillate between doubt and belief. You choose belief with all your heart and mind. You let go of hesitation, of conflicting thoughts, and you place your full trust in the reality of your assumption. This commitment ignites the creative power within you and sets into motion the invisible forces that shape your world. Creation begins not in the physical realm, but in consciousness. The decision is the seed planted in the fertile soil of your imagination, watered by feeling and nurtured by persistence. Without this decisive act, manifestation remains a distant dream, floating without form. With it, the blueprint is drawn, the path is cleared, and the unseen begins to take shape. This moment can come suddenly or gradually, but when it arrives, it is undeniable. It is the turning point where you stop living in lack and start living in fulfillment. The external world will catch up, but the real creation has already happened inside you. You have crossed the threshold from wanting to having, from hoping to knowing. Every great change, every miracle begins with this moment of decision. It is the conscious act of choosing your reality, and in that choice, you become the creator of your own experience. Remember this above all else. Your power to create is limitless, and it begins within. The outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. Change your inner world, and you change everything. Manifestation is not a distant dream or a future event. It is a present reality, waiting for your conscious acceptance. Step into the fullness of your creative power by imagining, feeling, assuming, and deciding with unwavering faith. Live from the end, dwell in the fulfillment, and persist beyond appearances. For the moment you decide, within is the moment your new reality is born. Claim this truth, embrace it boldly, and watch as your world transforms instantly, because you are not a passenger in life, but the author of your own destiny.